What is happening? What is going on? I've been going on YouTube for the past couple of weeks, and I've noticed that there's been some new videos of like graduation commencement speakers suddenly bringing up AI, and I was like, of this epidemic happening in graduation speeches, and I've actually found a couple of speeches, just mainly two, that I thought were interesting to talk about, because even though this is a Star Wars channel, I was like, I am super interested in this topic, and I feel like we should be talking about this more, because why are these speakers, just kind of bullshitting students and telling them, hey, this is your day to celebrate your graduation, but you know what? Let me talk about how AI is replacing you. So honestly, I just really want to talk about this topic because it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm going to show a clip from this video I found online that I don't think anyone's talking about, called the Angela Duckworth 2025 Penn State commencement speech. And I'm going to show you guys a clip, and I'll talk about it. I'll talk about how stupid this stuff is, and how stupid the commencement speeches are now, and especially this one. I'll talk about how stupid it is.
Let me share a story. One evening, not long ago, I got stuck on a statistics question that I just couldn't figure out. Now, I'm sure some of you, and definitely some of you, could have helped me, but you weren't there in my living room at 9:30 in the evening. I looked over at my adorable real estate developer husband, but it was pretty clear that he was not going to illuminate me on the finer points of the Benjamini-Hochberg procedure for multiple hypothesis testing. So I turned to ChatGPT.
Basically, this part of the speech is trying to prelude to her using AI. And all I have to say is that she is a professor of psychology at Penn State. She has the privilege to talk to so many people about this issue that are experts at mathematics. And then not just that, she can literally go online, look at a YouTube video that can help her with this specific problem she's having, Because all that AI does is it just feeds you ideas. It just feeds you stuff that already came from a YouTube video or on a different website. Because AI is trained on everything that has happened in the internet. So you could literally just read a book or go online, find a website that talks about this specific issue, but for some reason, she doesn't want to do that.
In just 2 sentences, it clarified the concept. Next, it offered a handful of practical tips for implementing the procedure and pointed out common misuses. Then it concluded with a concise summary. Still confused, I asked some follow-up questions. The responses came back: detailed, patient, and immediate. Finally, I requested a demonstration. And that's when I really got it. At long last, I understood the what, the why, and the how of a pretty sophisticated statistical procedure.
Okay, fine. Maybe it does condense harder to understand ideas, but do you really trust something like ChatGPT that can get stuff wrong all the time? And even the company has to state that GPT most of the time can be wrong about basic things? I mean, how can you trust that what it told you about the Benjamini-Hochberg procedure can be trusted? Especially since what you asked AI is a very advanced mathematical procedure. I mean, that's like giving a child an encyclopedia in mathematics and asking that child what is the Benjamini-Hochberg procedure. I mean, I'm not gonna act like I know what the fuck that is. I'm pretty sure that child would have a hard time with explaining it. I mean, ChatGPT isn't even meant to really be a tool for complex math. And AI like ChatGPT are pretty bad at calculating math, as they, again, just take shit from the internet and YouTubers and just paste it on their fucking chatbots. They are not calculators, and the internet can be a very, very wrong place.
My dialogue with ChatGPT lasted about 10 minutes, but it wasn't just a quick fix. AI helped me reach a level of understanding that far exceeded what I could achieve on my own.
Hell no! What is up with this lady? Are you really saying that you couldn't understand something that people created, that people invented way before AI? Because that's really fucking stupid. Why do so many people nowadays make this argument? It's like saying that aliens built the pyramids, not the Egyptians. It shows a lack of understanding human ingenuity and understanding. Humans can and have been able to learn complex and hard systems, especially math, since, we invented those systems. Many of these too hard to understand concepts. It was a human that created the Benjamini Hawkbird procedure. Jesus Christ, that's insane to say. Jesus Christ. I think you're just saying you're lazy. That's it. That's all the speech says, is that we should all be lazy. We shouldn't explore through reading and engaging with other people. We shouldn't ask questions. We should just ask this yes man to tell us everything and never figure out for ourselves. If that's what you're saying to these graduates that are preparing for the future, and your speech is this important occasion to tell them how important this milestone is, then essentially you are telling them that every achievement and hardship they face to work hard and never compromise is wrong and stupid. They are stupid for trying hard to search for truth, as this definitely not biased AI can just tell you what this Reddit post said about the Benjamin Hawkbird procedure. Like, why care? Why care if someone could just tell you it and you can't work hard to understand it? What this is dangerous for all of us, as if educators like this push for more incorporation of AI, there'll be less thinking for ourselves. We will just accept everything that comes from AI, even if it isn't true. We will become an idiocracy. I think that's how you say it.
I have a wonderful PhD student named Ben Lira, and he recently tested whether using AI to help you write diminishes or develops your own writing skill. In Ben's experiment, one group practiced writing cover letters with AI assistance, while another group practiced writing on their own. The results really surprised us. Participants using AI spent less time practicing, and yet they improved their writing skill more. What was going on? To find out, Ben went on to conduct more experiments, and what he discovered is that AI is an outstanding writing coach, providing high-quality, personalized demonstrations that show you what excellence looks like. In other words, AI, in my view, has a hidden pedagogical superpower. It can teach by example.
What kind of experiment is that? Why is it more important to shorten the amount of time you study? By what metric does it actually improve students' writing? And does the information really retain after the coaching? I mean, all those students aren't alone in their classes. They have people that can help them in writing. I think you, the audience, agrees with me that this is just a lazy attempt at an experiment, as of course the people with no help whatsoever are going to have a harder time learning than someone that has something to guide them. That's why people in school do have people, teachers such as this lady right here, to help them. This experiment believes that if you don't use ChatGPT or any other AI software, you'll just be alone and unable to get help with your writing. This is just wrong. There are literally resources. As you've pointed out, when you said earlier that you could have gone to faculty for help on the mathematics procedure. These people can help, yet you denied them and other faculty who have resources online just so you could prove a point. A point that only has one thing to say: don't go to the experts.
Okay, now's probably the right time to tell you that, I had many long conversations with not one, but several AI chatbots about the very address I'm delivering to you this morning. Many of you are now smiling politely, but secretly gasping in horror at the very idea that your commencement speaker would use AI to help her write her remarks. But it's true, I did. And because I was the one asking the questions and accepting or rejecting the suggestions, I'm not at all embarrassed that I did so. In fact, by exercising agency and using AI without deception, with the goal of improving myself, I'm proud.
Again, she exists within an institution with a myriad of professors that can help with ironing out some mistakes and adjusting phrasing. And students, I actually think it would have been a beautiful send-off for these students if the commencement speaker used their voices and writing suggestions to create the speech. It wouldn't be great, it would probably be a bit of a mess, but I think it would maintain a sentimental effect. Because get this, your speeches don't have to be perfect, they just have to be meaningful. However, by adding the topic of AI, she made the speech ultimately about her. I mean, I'm not a specialist when it comes to writing speeches meant to congratulate others, but I'm pretty sure you don't just add segment after segment about your foot fungus or about your life. One way her speech shows us is she only really addresses the crowd to make her point, or in the early beginning as an attempt to act like we're celebrating them. You know, the students, the people this whole thing's about, and not AI. However, I think I've been coming off as too passionate in my frustration towards this video. And I want to mention something about the speech that I do enjoy, her confidence. Personally, I've always had issues with my confidence, so seeing someone talk with such passion without much stutter is pretty inspiring for me, and it's pretty great. But that's really all I have to say. The whole thing just makes me angry listening to it. And I think that's all I have to say about the speech. It's just frustrating how all of the content is full of just AI glazing and all about me story time. You know, if you want to see her speech online, I'll post a link in the comments and description. I'll also post all the evidence I could gather on this topic, because although this is just kind of a rant, I want it to be a more thorough one, and I want you to see my side and see that it's not just anger coming from me, and that, you know, this channel is actually trying to say something. But nonetheless, let's continue the last commencement speech. Jensen Huang's commencement speech of 2026 at Carnegie Mellon University. This one was surprising and not surprising at the same time for me. If any of you don't know Jensen Huang, he is the CEO of NVIDIA, which is pretty famous for the graphic cards they make for PCs, like the new 50 series. If you own a PC, you most likely own an NVIDIA product. Now you know who he is, let's actually get into the speech. While I have plenty of things to say about the phrasing of some lines, this speech is just pretty bare bones boring.
2 years later, my parents left everything behind to join us. They came with little to nothing. My father was a chemical engineer. My mother worked as a maid at a Catholic school. She woke me up at 4 a.m. in the morning to deliver newspapers. My older brother got me a job as a dishwasher at Denny's, which at the time felt like a major career advancement. That was my view of America. Not easy, but full of opportunities. Not a guarantee, but a chance.
I know this clip has nothing to do with AI right now, but I showed it to you, the audience, so you could keep what he just said in mind. That was my view of America. Not easy, but full of opportunities. Not a guarantee, but a chance. This is a very important quote to remember as you listen to the later half of his speech, especially that not easy and full of opportunity lines. These will contradict what he is about to say later. Something I noticed is when he speaks about his childhood, he's trying to make himself seem relatable to the audience of students, but it just comes off as, how do you do, fellow kids? No matter what you say, I can't relate to someone whose net worth is 177.3 billion. And yeah, these students are probably financially comfortable, as the median student's family income is $154,000. However, there is a big difference between earning $154,000 and $177.3 billion. With $177.3 billion, what is the actual point of that amount of money? You can live a comfortable life with probably $250,000 a year with a family. What is the $177 billion needed for? The speech just feels like a facade. I know this was a slight tangent, but I think this sort of foreshadows the AI comments, and I'll delve deeper on that after this next clip.
My career started at the beginning of the PC revolution. Your career starts at the beginning of the AI revolution. For many, AI creates uncertainty. People see AI writing software, generating images, driving cars, and naturally wonder what happens next. Will jobs disappear? Will people be left behind? Will this technology become too powerful? Every major technological revolution in history created fear alongside opportunity. When society engages technology openly, responsibly, and optimistically, we expand human potential far more than we diminish it.
Oof, what do I want to say about this? Calling AI a revolution is probably the most cringe thing I've heard in my 18 years on this planet. I mean, this just feels cheap. What's revolutionary about AI chatbots and image generators? It's new, I'll give you that, and it does change stuff, I guess, by creating awful fucking slop. But it's really just leeching from what I think was an actual revolution that matters, which was the internet. And what I wanted to bring up last clip was really foreshadowing these clips. Jensen said earlier that important virtues of America were it's not easy, but full of opportunities. Remember that? I said that was important. But this is contradictory when AI will make things so easy that students can simply just make AI write essays, code, summarize text, calls, and emails while they laze around. This seems to go against this virtue of America that he set up as important, and a virtue that should be important. By spending time on topics and concepts like history and math, you retain more information than if you're given all the answers. In an AI message, which has a word count of just 100, that's not really going to retain in your memory. You're going to kind of just forget about it. Oh, and don't get me started on Jensen's line of America being full of opportunities when he also says a couple minutes later that AI is taking their jobs away. That AI is about to take jobs away from many industries. One that's AI's industry is one that is a purpose to take away jobs, not create them. It's not just coming for the hard labor jobs, but also creative ones like advertising, writing, film, and video games. I mean, remember that text-to-game showcase in 2024 at the EA Investor Day event? Basically, this text-to-game concept was an attempt at EA to showcase an idea for a game to have an AI that generated levels. You can see how this could negatively affect many developer jobs, as there would probably be no need to create levels because, this fucking dumb AI can just create as many really generic levels as it needs to. This is what people need to be worried about: their livelihoods and careers of all types being destroyed by AI. But Jensen doesn't care, as he's a part of this destructive industry, as he's one of the biggest companies building and incorporating AI. I mean, of course he loves it. He's the one gaining the most amount of money from it.
The responsibility of our generation is not only to advance AI, but to advance it wisely. Scientists and engineers have a profound responsibility to advance AI capabilities and AI safety together. History shows that societies that retreat from technology do not stop progress. They only surrender the opportunity to shape it and to benefit from it. So the answer is not to fear the future. The answer is to guide it wisely, build it responsibly, and ensure that it benefits reach as many people as possible. We should not teach fear of the future. We should engage it with optimism, responsibility, and ambition.
I cannot for the life of me find any source online that says civilizations were worse off for not using newer technologies. All the sources I could find on the subject of technology all point to Jensen being wrong. One of the sources I found, the impact of technological advancement on culture and society, actually paint the constant newer technologies being produced as destructive for minority cultures, as a culture actively using the technology usually uses it for the betterment of that culture's dominance over others. AI is especially viable for this outlook, as most new easy-to-make AI video generation in the past have been used by white supremacists to push certain agendas to protect white culture, such as racist videos of fake black people fighting over EBT cards and eating fried chicken. These videos really remind me of those minstrel shows in the early to middle 1900s that heavily hurt and harmed black communities. This heavily contradicts the idea that civilizations are worse for dropping newer technologies. If AI is newer than YouTube and Twitter and better for people, why is it still used for content that harms people of color, which Twitter already does well enough? How is it actually improving our lives when all I see is it pushing real human-made art out of the spotlight? I think what I'm really trying to say is that Jensen is being way too general with his statements and overplaying the advancement of AI. All he comments is that it's innovative without giving real examples that benefit the average Joe, or that AI will start a new industry without any example of any person not a part of that industry benefiting from it. This view he has of AI has a name: appeal to novelty. Appeal to novelty is a logical fallacy that states something is great because it's new. We know that AI has its giant list of problems, but Jensen doesn't care because it's new. It's new technology. There's no bad technology to someone like Jensen. It's all good, no matter the cost. I just can't take any more of this guy. He just seems like he's begging the students and us to use AI. He really, really wants AI to become this great capitalistic empire. But what I'm about to say is why I made this whole video. Don't use AI. Don't subscribe to it. We have the ability in a capitalistic society to stop something by just boycotting it. And if we can boycott AI, we can stop jobs from being destroyed and games from turning into AI slop. This is a wake-up call to fight back against AI slop and against this fucking bullshit. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, make sure you like and subscribe. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.